So for this recipe, you're gonna need your favorite seasonings. You wanna use a lot because tofu tastes like nothing, so you have to season it very well. You also want to use some onion, garlic clove, some tomatoes, vegan mayo or coconut milk, either or. And then you're going to use firm tofu, not extra firm, not silk tofu. It has to be firm. Now, the way I cut my tofu, I don't get fancy with those tofu press or anything. I empty out the water that is in the package. I take it out and I kind of drain it myself by squeezing on it. Since it is firm tofu, it can handle you squeezing on it. Just don't go too rough, be gentle, but you don't need a tofu press. Like, it doesn't have to be completely dry, is what I'm saying. I like to cut my tofu in cubes because it's easier to cook and it's easier to season that way. So you can either do medium-sized cubes, small size, it doesn't matter. If you do cut your tofu in these thick pieces just like that, it's gonna take a very long time for it to cook. But if you minimize the size of the tofu like I am, it cuts the cooking time in half and it doesn't end up tasting like tofu at the end. It tastes like whatever you're seasoning it with. So this is the ideal size that you want when it comes to making small cubes. Once you're done cutting the tofu, you can put it in a pan on medium heat with some oil and let it get nice and brown. While the tofu is cooking on its own, this is the time you can take to cut all of your vegetables that you will be using. If you don't like any of these vegetables, you can swap them out with anything that you like. So if you like broccoli more than tomatoes, use that. It's all about your preference. While the tofu is cooking, you do want to add in your seasoning so it can kind of, suck it up basically. I don't know how else to put it. Once you have all the seasonings in there and the tofu starts getting a little golden brown, you can put the vegetables and start mixing, but mix very gently because even though the tofu is firm, it will break on you if you are too rough with that spatula. So once when you're done mixing everything, let it be, like literally let it sit and kind of forget about it. I forgot to show you guys the tomato sauce that I use. It's in these tiny little cans. You're gonna need one whole tiny can, and this is no salt added. Those are the ones I always get. So once your tofu looks this brown, this is when you're gonna add in that whole can of tomato sauce. And then I go back to the sink and fill up the can with water. So about half of the can is filled with water, and that adds a nice soupy texture, but it's not going to be too soupy, okay? It's going to suck it all up and it'll get nice and thick. So then I'm going to add in the last ingredient, which is some reduced fat vegan mayo. You can add in some coconut milk if you prefer to do that. We normally do, but we didn't have any on hand, so kind of substitute it with the vegan mayo. But either or would work, and they both come out very creamy and delicious. You can also add in some sea salt for a little bit of taste, or some pepper, whatever you prefer. Mix it all around, and that is about it, you guys. Now this is what the creamy tofu looks like. You can have it cooking for longer if you want a crispier taste to it. It all depends on your preference. We like to pair this up with some sweet potatoes or some mashed potatoes on the side, or just some green vegetables. So anyways, I hope you guys enjoyed, and I will catch you next Friday.